Hello team, this is attempt number 2 at this video because I spoke too much in the first one and it went on for too long, so trying this one a little bit quicker, but I probably will ramble again like I already am. Anyway, so metabolism seems to be an absolute massive buzzword that you see everywhere you go at the moment in and out of the fitness industry. I was on YouTube the other day and there was this Facebook ad and the guy was like, you follow the link and I'll tell you the 4.
There's a way to change how your body processes foods so that you not only don't store it as fat, but you turn your body into a fat burning machine without doing extra workouts or being super
metabolism boosting foods you can eat to aid your fat loss journey and blah, 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 blah. And I was having this conversation with my mom the other day and she was like, yeah, so-and-so, she doesn't put on any weight. She's got a really high metabolism. This largely isn't the case, and I want to do a bit of a video to explain to people the ins and outs of it so they can help understand how your metabolism and kind of not your metabolism impacts weight loss in your day-to-day life. So largely, like after this video, you won't be able to use I have a low metabolism as an excuse for weight loss, but you will be able to understand how that mechanism works and how you can aid your weight loss as such. So before we go any further, the first thing we need to understand is that regardless of what I say today, the main mechanism in place that's going to allow you to lose weight is going to be a calorie deficit. You need to consume less calories than you expend on a day-to-day basis. So when people talk about metabolism, largely they are referring to your total daily energy expenditure. So whenever I go about my day, everything has a cost. If I want to buy a coffee, there's a cost to that. If I want to put petrol in my car, there's a cost to that. If I want to get on the bus, if I want to buy clothes, everything we go about on a day-to-day has a cost. Energy is the same. So if I, like me moving my hands around at the moment, that has a cost to it. When I walk up the street, that has a cost to it. When I run up the stairs, that has a cost to it. When I fall asleep and my body has to kind of achieve homeostasis and keep me asleep and so on and so forth, that has a cost to it. Just as the petrol and the coffee, the metric of that is pounds or dollars, wherever you are in the world. The metric to energy is calories. So whenever I do anything, there is a calorie cost to that. So your total daily energy expenditure is broken up into 4 different categories. Your BMR, your TEF, thermic effective food, your NEAT and your EAT. Now, the bottom one, BMR, which contributes to the most of your daily energy expenditure, is the calories used to kind of keep you alive on a day-to-day basis. Heart beating, lungs working, blood flowing, brain activity, so on and so forth. The one above that is thermic effective food. As I mentioned, everything has a cost. Eating food has a cost as well. So if I go and eat some chicken, that may cost me 100 calories to consume that meal. That's a bit exaggerated, but and you might go and eat another meal like a bowl of cereal and that only has a 40 calorie cost to consuming that meal. The reason it's included because there's a variance in depending on what food we eat. Then the other 2 which are quite important, you've got NEAT and EAT. NEAT means non-exercise activity thermogenesis. I'm a perfect example of this because I wave my hands around like a lunatic and this is going to burn quite a lot of calories. I'm a fidgeter, so I'm going to burn a little bit more calories, which is important for what's to come. The one above that is EAT, exercise activity thermogenesis. This is anything that's planned or that's forced. Anything basically, if I'm going to go and exercise and I burn calories doing that, that is where EAT categorizes itself. Football, running, gym work, Zumba, whatever you want to do, that is classed as EAT. Now, when we use the word metabolism, we are largely referring to BMR, the calories we use on a daily basis to run our body, for our internal organs to work, so on and so forth. Now, when we refer to metabolism, there are different things that influence it. The majority of the influence, probably I'd say a little bit over 75%, I'd need to check the actual figures, is our internal organs. So when Joe Blogs is saying you can go and eat these 4 different foods, they're going to help boost your metabolism, so on and so forth, largely it's rubbish. Because as you can see, we can't really influence our internal organs, not by a massive amount anyway. So our muscle mass and our body fat mass does influence it, but only marginally. So over the course of 24 hours, if we're going to apply our efforts to something that's going to help us lose our weight, why would we apply our efforts to something that's going to equate to maximum 25% of something that only accounts to 50% of our total daily energy expenditure? So it's going to be like 10% influence we can have, maybe a little bit above that we can have on our total daily energy expenditure. So that's kind of the main thing to understand, is that metabolism is largely uninfluenceable. Is that a word? I don't know if that's a word, but we can't influence it. So we need to understand where we can influence on a daily basis. Just to reiterate, our metabolism is the cost of energy to keep us moving around on a day-to-day basis, to keep us alive, So we can't largely influence that. So when people are saying so-and-so's got a high metabolism, they might have a higher metabolism than you, but it's not going to account for the reason that they can keep off weight and you can't. And the reverse is also true. If so-and-so's got a slow metabolism, that's not going to be the reason they're overweight, because it's only going to be a maximum of up to 100 calories per day that it's going to affect. There's going to be other factors at play. So some people, however, do refer to metabolism and they think it's referring to the bigger picture of total daily energy expenditure. So you've got a thermic effect of food. No, there's a marginal difference in the types of food that we eat, but that's not going to be the reason. Just because we eat different foods, it's not going to mean that we lose weight and someone else can't. Then we come to NEAT. This is where it kind of gets interesting. And where like my fidgeting reference kind of comes into play. So a couple of experiments were done. I'm going to refer to them so you can see that I'm not just making this up and I am backed up by science. An experiment was performed to see the difference in calorie use over a 24-hour period. Now the individuals were locked in a room and their energy expenditure was measured. So the room was not much bigger than the space that you can see in this video. So they didn't start working out. All they had to do is sit around, walk within that room and fidget and sleep. There weren't any exercise involved. Now there was a variability from differences of people from 138 up to 685 calories per day. That means that one person within a 24-hour period could burn 500 calories more per day. So as you can see, the ability we move, the amount we move has a massive impact on how many calories we burn on a day-to-day basis, and how many calories we spend over 24 hours. Now, if we look at how many calories we burn, if I'm resting, if I'm just chilling, doing absolutely nothing, I burn up to 77 calories per hour. I fidget quite a lot. Fidgeting has a cost per hour of 118 calories. So as you can see, there's a massive difference. There's up to 40 calories, just over 40 calories per hour difference between someone who's doing that and someone who's doing absolutely nothing. So if I've got a long day, that's a massive amount of calories difference from person A who's restless and person B who is just chilled out and doesn't move. There's a massive difference in the calorie expenditure. Another study was done where they took 20 people who all said, I'm a couch potato. They all said, hang on a minute, this study is wrong, I'm a couch potato. And they took 10 of those people were lean individuals, so they were slim, 10 of those people were obese individuals. So all of these people said, I'm not active, I'm a couch potato. However, half of them were lean, half of them were obese. What they found was the obese people generally sat for 164 minutes per day and they expended 352 calories less per day through activity. So as you can see, even when people think they are not active individuals, generally they are way more active. Now they are generally way more active. Now, I can see what you're thinking. You're thinking that if I'm going to fidget, if I'm going to be one of these people, and even if I don't think I'm one of these people, it's largely down to kind of my subconscious. Even if I think I'm a couch potato, I might not be a couch potato and I might be quite active. So this is going to assume that we're not really aware of what's going on. And that is kind of true. For things like fidgeting and being active, like me moving my hands around now, that is largely down to genetics. However, that doesn't mean we can't influence it. So up to this point, we've kind of realized that we have two different types of people. We don't have high metabolism and we have low metabolism. That is not a thing. We have people who have high NEAT, non-exercise activity. In other words, we have high movers, they move a lot like me, like what I'm doing now, and we have low movers, people who are quite chilled out, people who are less inclined to be active, people who are quite sedentary, they just chill out all the time. Those are the two types of people we have. So, and before you kind of jump to any conclusions and go, oh, okay, well, you know, I was excited to watch this video. I thought I was going to have an alternative to high metabolism and low metabolism, and there was going to be an answer for my lack of weight loss. Now you've just told me, actually, I'm just destined to be less of a mover than other people, and that's the reason they can lose weight and I can't. That is not the case, because remember, we can influence NEAT, and that's the really important thing with this. We can have a massive impact. Even if we're not a fidgeter, doesn't mean we can't consciously make the decision to be a more active individual. Now, the majority of our NEAT comes from walking. We walk to our car, we walk around when we're at work. I'm a personal trainer, so I spend most of my day on my feet. I'm walking pretty much all day, which is going to have an absolute massive impact. I remember when I switched to a more businessy role within the gym facility that I was working at, I didn't pile the weight on, but I put so much more weight on than when I was constantly on my feet all day coaching. That's more evidence than I need to see that there's a massive difference between when I'm PTing and when I'm not PTing, I put weight on. It's as simple as that. So walking consists of up to 304 calories. Wait, is that right? Oh, yeah, that's right, sorry. So walking can contribute 304 calories per hour. That's a brisk walk. I think that's like 5 miles per hour. That's why I was a bit confused by that. Whereas that's versus 77 calories per hour for someone who's resting, or 118 calories per fidgeting. So I can't really argue that difference of a fidgeter versus a non-fidgeter of 118 calories per 77 when I have the ability to get up off my arse and go and walk, and that's going to burn 304 calories per hour. So as you can see already now, we have the ability to have a massive influence on this, and we have the ability to have a massive impact, and we cannot blame our metabolism because we are in control of this. Now, that's what we understand about NEAT, okay? Number one, there is a genetic influence to it. However, we are in control and we can have a massive impact. When it comes to exercise, I'm not gonna go into too much detail on this because I've already rambled quite a lot, but we've got two different types of exercise. We've got resistance training and we've got aerobic training. Now, a couple of studies were done. When people were doing aerobic training, for example, I go to the gym and I run on the treadmill for an hour, this generally reduced their NEAT, their non-exercise activity, by 148 calories on non-training days. So let's say today I go for an hour's run, tomorrow I'm going to be less inclined to be active. This could be for various reasons. It could be because we're tired and we're stiff for our joints, so our body's conserving ourselves. But yeah, it could be for various different reasons. However, the opposite is true for resistance training. So when individuals did resistance training on non-training days, so if I went to the gym and did weights today, tomorrow my NEAT was up by 216 calories. So as you can see, there's a lot of evidence when people say weight training is good for weight loss. People think I need to go and burn calories, when actually the opposite is true. So in summary, to finish this off, because I'm rambling again, I can feel that I'm rambling. Fast or slow metabolism is not a thing. Just because Mary down the road doesn't ever seem to put on weight and can seem to eat whatever she wants, the reality is she just outworks and outmoves that terrible diet. Don't get me wrong, one day that might catch up on her because she may stop being less inclined, she might break a leg, she might not be able to move, and then all of a sudden the weight piles onto her. So that is not a thing. So fast and slow metabolism, anyone says it to you now, you can go, actually, you don't have a fast metabolism, you just move quite a lot. Or actually, you don't have a slow metabolism, you're just not a big mover. So there are generally more active people and generally less active people. And like I said before, this can be down to genetics or it can be influenced by us. If we apply effort to that scenario, we can counter it. It's something that is within our control. And that's the most important thing to understand. People use that high metabolism, low metabolism thing because it's not within our control and we've just got to succumb to it. Actually, now you understand that you can have a massive impact and influence on it. So if you want to lose weight, here is what you have to do. You still need to go to the gym. Remember, Collective Fitness, we talk a lot about the gym. It has more of an impact on our headspace and our mindset than it does really anything else, and it can spill over into our day-to-day lives. That's still important to go to the gym for that reason. But when we go to the gym, we need to prioritize weight training over aerobic training. Don't just go and think, I need to burn calories, I need to burn calories. Resistance training has a massive positive impact. In the rest of our day, we need to make a conscious effort to be incredibly active individuals. Walk the dog, walk without the dog. Go and walk for an hour and put a podcast in. Instead of sending an email to a colleague, go and walk to that colleague. Don't buy one of those weird lawnmowers that you sit on. Get a pushy lawnmower so you can walk. Do the dishes instead of doing the dishwasher. Moving your hands around doing the dishes, that's going to burn calories. Play with your kids. Don't just give them an iPad. You kind of get the idea. There's millions of ways that we can be more active. Another thing that I haven't really spoke about is indirectly, there are things that we can do to be more active as well. Largely, I spot this a lot with my clients. Their inability to perform within the gym is down to something like dehydration or the food they've eaten on that day. If I'm more hydrated, I feel way better. I'm going to be more inclined to go around and move around. Okay, I'm rambling again now, so I'm going to kind of knock that on the head. You understand now what the metabolism is. All it is your internal organs keeping you alive. You understand there isn't a fast and slow metabolism. The way you want to lose weight, go and be more active. Go and do resistance training in the gym. Thank you for listening. Have an amazing day.